one, communication, right? If you know anything about this channel and know what I particularly emphasize on most of our episodes is that we need to communicate. And I think I put it number one because it's really important. And I think you'll see with all the other 16 things that I'll speak on how communication is really key in getting all these other things to come to life, right? But we need to communicate, gents. We need to speak to our wives. We need to tell them where we at, what our thoughts are, what we're feeling, right? And I think the thing with communication is that's where marriage happens, right? Marriage is between two people who will communicate their thoughts, their feelings, their ambitions, their dreams, their goals, right? How else am I going to know what my wife is thinking if I don't speak to her, if she doesn't speak to me, if I don't listen, right? If she doesn't listen to me? How else will I know where we need to improve, where we're going, what else needs to be placed attention on, right? How else would I know that if we don't communicate? So I think for some husbands, communication might be the thing that's taken a back burner. We need to bring it to the forefront, man. 2024, let's really get on that and improve our communication, right? And that's going to look differently for different people, for different husbands. But I think we need to prioritize that and make it a key thing in our marriages. I listened recently to somebody who was speaking. I don't know if this is like a genuine study. You know, on the internet, everybody has a study, but they were saying that like husbands have 5,000 words per day and wives have 15,000 words per day, right? And so if a husband then goes to work, you might use up all your 5,000 words. By the time you get back home, you don't have any more words, and your wife might have used 5,000 of her words at work, and she comes back home and she has 10,000 words, right? I'll be honest, sometimes it feels like my wife has 10,000 words. But it's always cool to just obviously hear everything that she has to say. But here's the thing. The reason why I'm bringing that up is this. You might have 5,000 words and come back home and feel like I don't have anything else to say. I think improving your communication this year means you're going to have to love your wife enough to go find 5,000 other words, right, to speak to her when you do get home. Because again, as much as work is important, as our outside life is important, obviously our marriage, our wives, our first priority, that's the most important institution in our life. Your wife is the most important person, right? For me, after God, obviously. And so I think, man, we're going to have to find the other 5,000 words to speak to our wives. And I think another thing is, I said this on a podcast I have with my wife, right? The Newborns, go check that out if you don't know what it is, right? But what we spoke about in light of communication on an episode there was how wives can also find ways to basically prompt us, right, as husbands to speak about our day. So instead of my wife asking me how your day was, because as a husband, sometimes when I'm asked that question, I'm just like, I don't even know where to begin. But quote unquote, if she would speak husband language or man language, right, if I should put it that way, is for her to ask me, what have I achieved that day? And trust me, once you ask a dude, what has he achieved? That just does something to us, man, as men. And then we bring out, our thoughts, our feelings, our ideas, really how our day was. And so I think having that conversation, again, communicating with your wife to say, hey, maybe communicate in this way so that it presses buttons, massages buttons in me that will evoke, encourage, awaken certain things that will enable me to get those 5,000 words. But I think we should be fighting to get those 5,000 words because we love our wives, right? So let me not dwell too much on that, but communication, that's something that I think we need to work hard on.